But all said, that should be good enough for now. Unless, hey yo, how's it going everyone? Entropy here today with another video. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite clans in the game of Cardfight Vanguard, and that is ShadowPaladin. Now, ShadowPaladin, the Revenger archetype, is the go-to archetype for now. You know, we're going to get witches down the line, but I think Revengers are still quite a bit better. Point is, we got some support for Revengers from the new set. We have some Phantom stuff, Drangler Phantom. So let's talk about it. How does it change up Revengers? Does it make it stronger? I definitely do think so. How so? Let's see. Let's talk about my list. What I think is the most important thing about Revengers, this set of support, is its flexibility, right? Previously, you have a very consistent deck already, but now you have much more tutoring options. So let me explain. For the grade 0, we are playing Judged by Revenger. So this card is pretty amazing. When they attack by a Phantom, this unit boosted hits. Cast 1, put this into your soul and call 2 grade 1 or less from your deck as rest. One of the negatives is that it requires your Vanguard to be a Phantom name. So unless you're playing like 4 Mordreds and maybe more Phantoms, this card isn't that consistent. You know, generally speaking, this card is going to be stuck behind your Vanguard instead of flexibly behind your Vanguard or on the corners and whatnot, because you want to consistently have a Phantom. And unfortunately, your only Phantom targets are grade 3, and you don't really want rearguard grade 3s. You want the option to not do that sometimes. But the positive is that you can call any grade 1 or less rearguards. So of course in 0 we don't have grade 0s in our deck. The only grade 1s, so we're gonna call grade 1s. And fortunately there are a lot of great picks. So let's talk about the grade 1 lineup. So 4 PGs, I think this is pretty standard. 1 Dark Bond Trumpeter, so we used to play this at 2 or 3. I'm only playing this at 1 because you can tutor it out. You can flood the board a lot easier nowadays, so Trumpeter by itself isn't that significant, but it is still a strong option, and definitely really flexible since it doesn't really require Revenger, Vanguard, or whatever. You can just place it, you can call it a token, and you can use it as a 5k booster or as food, so that's pretty good. For Dorint, you absolutely have to play 4. It's your countercharger. The deck does counterblast quite a bit. You know, even your starter counterblast, you just saw Trumpeter counterblast. So Dorint helps out with that. It's not as valuable as in Liberators because you don't get to recycle Blaster Blade as much as Blaster Dark. I mean, sorry, the other way around. You don't get to recycle Blaster Dark as much as Blaster Blade Blood. But you know, Counterblast is something that is a resource that you should manage, and Doreen helps out with that, and has the Revenger name, which is really valuable. We have 2 Sharp Point Revenger Shadow Lancer. So this card is a new unit. When placed, discard a grade 3 to add a Mordred Phantom, the Break Ride, from your deck to your hand. So this actually increases the consistency of, you know, the Break Ride, which is really important for a Revenger deck. Increases the consistency of your starter proccing, because now you guarantee that as long as you started with a grade 3, well, Shadow Lancer switches that for a Phantom name, and you can always have a Phantom Vanguard, so you can always proc your starter, which is really great. Down the line, Legion, you will probably play more of this because being able to ditch grade 3s and Legion faster is very valuable. Cards are common, so that's really good. And lastly, we're playing 2 Black Winged Swordbreakers, vanilla, non-Revenger, but on play Solas 1, draw a card. Great combo with the starter. This is primarily what you're going to be using it for. You know, hit with the Phantom Vanguard, cast 1, put into soul, call 2 Swordbreakers, Solas 2, draw 2. This card does clog up your board a bit. You know, behind your Vanguard, you're generally going to be hitting like 20k numbers, which isn't enough to hit the 21k number, for example, or like, you know, 17 or whatnot. Not enough to hit 18 or whatever. But, you know, when you Superior Call this card, your Soul Blast 1, which Soul really isn't the cost in Revengers, you're drawing a card, which practically, you know, 80%, 90% of your deck are Revengers. So you can always just choose to replace this card with whatever card you drew. And if you think about it that way, it's not actually that bad, right? Like most of your retire skills, you want to use when you're on 4 or 5. And at that point, you know, you should have generated enough resources, which is kind of what the Paladins kind of do, that you can replace this card, you know, if you don't want it. So it works out. You have a lot of cheap superior calling in this deck, so even though this isn't Revengeing, even though this can't be used as food, it's great to just help you, have a body there, have a booster early game, mid game, help you draw a card, and search into your PGs, which is really great, and something that Liberators really struggle with, just like how I struggle with my words. Grade 2s, we're still playing 4 Tar 2, amazing card, got buffed from Counterblast 2 to Counterblast 1, makes no sense not to play this at 4. Fetch out your Doreen, fetch out your Shadow Lancers if you need to fix your grade 3, whatever, maybe even a Trumpeter. 4 Bloodstock Revengers, again, no reason not to play 4. Counterblast to retire something, helps you enable, a 4th attack into your opponent's face. Combos with Doreen, again, just really good. 3 mana, this is a new unit. On plays, you can call a grade 1 or less Revenger from your deck to another rear circle in the same column as this unit. Put that unit to the bottom of your deck at the end of that turn. Well, the great thing is that, when you're calling this anywhere, right? Well, it automatically means that it can hit 14k or above numbers by itself, right? Because you're calling out a free booster, you're putting it back into the deck. You can call it a Trumpeter, you can return it, you can use it for later again. We're only playing once, so that's helpful. You can call it the Shadow Lancer, help you fix stuff, put it to the bottom of the deck, you can reuse that. Doreen's, less value, superior calling this card, but I guess you can just immediately replace your mana with the Bloodstock Revenger, you immediately get the counter charge, and then you can counter blast and do some endgame plays. I've definitely done that before. But primarily, I think what you're gonna do is Shadow Lancer early game, Trumpeter maybe early game, and Doreen's late game to help you finish off the game, assuming you have that Bloodstock in your hand. Definitely a really strong card. I think it's really underrated. The most obvious use of this card is just to get food to eat with your Drag Ruler or with Raging Form. But being able to fetch out any grade 1 again, because you already have Tarte that does that, means that your grade 1 slot, you can play a lot of 1s of and 2 ofs just because it's so easy to search them out. So that's one thing that I really like about the deck, is just how flexible the grade 1, grade 2 slot is. Grade 2s are just so amazing and helps you fetch out the specific grade 1s that you want that are already really good, and serves the purpose to help you end the game with the grade 3s. And lastly, we played 2 in the mains, still a great, option. 5k body, Counterblast 1, discard 1, draw 2, it's really solid. Again, always a staple in the ShadowPaladin deck, and can't go wrong with it. It is not a Revenger name, but again, with only 4 non-Revengers in your deck, you're not gonna be, suffering that much. It's not that challenging. It's of a consistency issue, especially with so much Revenger, superior calling Revengers and whatnot. For the grade 3s, we're playing 4 Mordreds. There's no reason to play 4. We're playing 4 Raging Form, still a really strong unit. Playing 4 Dragruler Phantoms instead of Duramweeds this time around. Skill helps you Counterblast 1, retire 2 Revengers, get +10, and deal 1 damage to your opponent. Fortunately, your opponents can still trigger check, but still being able to guarantee dealing that damage, and then choosing how to set up your board, being able to get +10 to hit over numbers is really solid. And crossroad numbers do help, when there's a lot of Novels or when there's a lot of Zenness in the game, the 13k body can come in handy. Lastly, we're playing 1 Desperate Dragon. It is our, Desperate 1 copy. I actually think this card is again really underrated. I think this card can do a lot of damage, especially when your opponent doesn't know what they're doing, and Desperate Dragon is a really rare unit to see and come across. Skill, I think, at the start of your main phase, retire a Regards, retire one of your opponent's Regards at random with the priority to the back row. Is this amazing? Not really, but it forces and pressures your opponent to commit to the board. In some clans like Kagero, where resources are tight, retiring their boosters and whatnot really disables them sometimes. And if they don't call it any boosters, retiring their front row so you get an extra attack in their face is really, really big. In addition, when you attack a Vanguard, if you have more Regards than your opponent, which you have retire skills and whatnot, Counterblast 1 to get +5/+1 crit until the end of battle, which is great. It's kind of like Duramweed, but Counterblast 1 instead, or retiring something on your board. Condition isn't hard to fulfill, and it's just a flexible option. Counterblast 1 is cheap, so desperate times, Desperate Dragon. So that's basically the list. Nothing too crazy. I think primarily your ride target. If you do draw into Swordbreaker, keep it. It's fine. Ride it. It's fine. You know, you can still superior call one Swordbreaker, and calling out a Doreen is not bad at all. Okay, grade 2, I think riding the mana is probably a wise choice. You know, even though you're not able to use the skill, the other grade 2s pretty high value, I'd say. If you had to, maybe ride Tartu, I guess. But yeah, grade 3s, I like Mordred. Remember to fix your Mordred. If not, and I do have a Caramblast, and I do have my Swordbreakers in my deck and whatnot, maybe I'll go into Dragon Ruler Phantom to use the starter. And if not, then honestly, sometimes Desperate Dragon is the way to go, because it can still do stuff before LB4. So Raging Form, still a really good card. One thing I would like to say is that be careful of decking out. You have draws here, you have draws here, you have draws here, you have Superior Calling here, you have Superior Calling here, you have Superior Calling here, and here, and here. So decking out, I guess except Trumpeter, decking out is a real issue. Just be mindful, be careful, and if you just play consciously, everything should be all right. So I guess with that all said and done, let's get into a few games and see how this deck can perform. So of course, before we do anything and go into the game, we do have the Ren skin from the Easter event. So of course, go check that out if you haven't already. And let's get into some games and see how this deck can perform. So interestingly, they did choose to put the Spectral Duke behind the Easter Ren. You know, I'm more of a PvD fanboy, so I do like the original skin more. But I can't deny Spectral Duke is one good-looking dragon. All right, is this going to be a VP farmer? Is this going to be the curse of the content creator? Let's hold on to the Mordred. It's a great card. Grade 1, grade 2 is fine. Everything else we can draw into later on. It's not a VP farmer. Maybe it's a Souk player. Good practice. Very nice. All right, let's see what we can do. PG is great. Again, the starter, generally speaking, I really like it behind the Vanguard. That way we don't have to commit in grade 3 into the rearguard circles. And it could get punished. You know, it's not ideal 100% of the time. So. Alright, they're playing the Gemini. How are they gonna do? Tsukuyomi is still a really strong deck, but it does require a lot of thinking and preparation, and it's not for everyone. Definitely not for me. Alright, we see the Angel. Let's see. Alright, I think the mana or the Revenger, the Blaster Dark Revenger, could be pretty good. I think the mana is fine right now. Yeah, I think the mana is fine. We're just gonna swing. Ooh, the heal trick is really big here. Drag Ruler coming in clutch. One thing for sure is I do think that Raging Form is still better than Drag Ruler. Drag Ruler is great because you're retiring one less, but you don't get the multi-attack when your opponent's at 5. And I think that's the biggest difference that you need to consider when using Drag Ruler. Like, flooding your board as a Paladin player isn't challenging. So one less retire in exchange for one Caramblast isn't as good in Shadows than in like some other clans maybe. So we're gonna draw unfortunately we're gonna draw into the Swordbreaker, but we did damage check a draw trigger, so that second column isn't gonna throw us off our game. Going to the Break Ride, Mordred Phantom. Alright, very nice. And I'm gonna call it like this. I think this is fine. Conserve those Monster Dark Revengers. It's still early. I don't think it's necessary to push that hard. Alright. Judge Battle. I do like the Swordbreaker behind the Vanguard, and I do like my Doreens in the rearguard, even though it does mean that the Vanguard column right now is 20k only. You know, the rearguard columns with the Blaster Dark Revenger and the counter charge is a lot bigger. in my opinion. Just now, especially since we're going first, we could have called down a Blaster Dark, hit 9k, the middle column is 19 with the 5k boost and the extra 3k from Mordred. So we could have, chose to deal 2 damage, even if they hit a trigger, we would still pass. But playing a bit more conservatively, want a bigger endgame push, see if we can do that with the Blaster Darks, and that might help. Alright, Tsukiyomi, again, one of the pre-LB decks, really nice to use, to have. Stand trigger though, unfortunate, but you never know. And that's one of the weaknesses of stands, Tsukiyomi is already in the deck that uses stands the most just because you can stack them, you know when they're going to show up. But when this kind of stuff happens, it's really out of control. Faithful Angel going to help you go through the stack, Blue Eyes as well. Fortunately, Blue Eye is not a dragon here, so less menacing in grade 1, but still a really strong card. Alright, we do get another Blaster Dark. Works for me. Again, Raging Form doesn't need Counterblast, so I get to do stuff like this. Not retiring the front row because we were 16, 20, and 16, so that means that unless we hit a trigger and they don't, then we can't actually reach that power anyways. So here we're lucky, we're guaranteeing that the next column can hit, and this way we're mitigating their ability to actually work on their stack. Getting rid of that Blue Eye. Alright. Playing 9 stands maybe, that's crazy. I mean, Tsukiyomi does just help you draw to -1, but 9 stands is really rare to see in OTT, simply because it is still rough to not play with any draw triggers in this 0 game, where you don't just draw into your trigger checks and whatnot. Tsukiyomi, definitely another stand. We haven't seen a heal yet. I think we did in the form of Amaterasu, but not too sure. Alright, Sal and Tom here. A bit desperate, you can tell. Generally speaking, you want to pocket that Tom for later. Maybe they have one more copy in their hand, who knows, but this early, when I'm at 3, not a good sign for them. Not a good sign for them. Here, we can break ride, we can again search for a Blaster Dark if we wanted to. We still have that 1 in our hand as well. Stand trigger, alright. Are they already in their stack? Giving us 1 extra Counterblast to play with could be detrimental. Since we still have 2 Blaster Dark in play, we can always countercharge when we call one out. Drag Ruler, do we want to use Drag Ruler instead? For the showcase, let's do that. Let's do Drag Ruler. Gotta show off the nice animation. 13k body could be useful against the Tom if they survive. So let's do that. Look at that boy. Good looking boy. Alright. Blaster Dark. Again, the Counterblast 1 instead of the Retire 1 sounds great on paper, but Counterblast is a bit harsh in this deck. So, not the most amazing skill, but it is what we're working with. So. Want to maintain those numbers. And if we use Raging Form instead, we would have had 1 more Counterblast to get rid of that Tom. So that's just something for your consideration. I love Drag Ruler as well, but I can't deny Raging is still better. I can't deny at all. But all said, that should be good enough for now, unless our opponent sacks that heal trigger. It could be a sack, it could be a stack, I don't know, but it is what it is. They do have the draw 2 as well. We did see another Silent Tom go to the damage, so Hopefully they don't have a third copy. Hopefully they don't play the third copy. Wow. Alright. Alright. So, maybe showcasing the Drag Ruler was a mistake. It is, not looking good. Not looking good. Attack with the Silent Tom. No, they did misplay. Oh no, Tom. Tom cometh and Tom taketh. So unfortunately, that is the end of the line. We have no heal triggers in our deck left. And that is it. Oof. This is bad. But all things considered, you know, I think between you and me, if we went into raging form, we could have won that game. It is a Drag Ruler Phantom Showcase though. So yeah, Drag Ruler is more of a backup option, is all I'm trying to say here. You know, it's a heal trigger for a reason, not a draw trigger, you know. It's not your main target. So yeah. Alright, here, again, get rid of the grade 3. Everything else is good to go. We have the Mordred Phantom as well. That's really good. That's a pay to win, pay to play skin and sleeves. That's some fancy stuff. Ooh. Alright, interesting though. What is this? Fargo? Sure. Alright, well. We're just gonna do the standard, call the starter behind the Vanguard. Kimnara. Interesting pick. Very retire focused Kagero deck. Alright, that's one Blaster Dark. Ooh, that's not nice to see. I do want to keep the Blaster Dark though. Because the Jishbao can always, you know, search into a Doreen if I wanted to. So, turn 2. You know, it's a fine ride option, I feel. The end. What are they gonna show us? Alright, Bellicosity. We saw them drive check 1 as well. Don't have 2 counterblast to use, you know, Berserk or whatever. Don't have the Overlord at the drop zone to use the Burnout. Ooh, the heal trigger here is nice. Definitely helps. Alright, here we go. Don't mind calling grade 3s because we can eat them later on anyways, right? And also, our Vanguard call hits 19, just like what we said just now. Maybe playing the last game more aggressively would have helped us, but we can't change the past. We can only do better in the present. Let's use the starter. I think the draw 2 would be really nice, so let's do that. Save the other column for maybe a tar 2 or drawing into, just manually drawing into Doreen would be good. Alright, PG is super solid. Calling the Doreen is also less appealing in this matchup because your opponent can always just target and retire it. Here, the Sword Breakers already help us plus, but they're not really great retire options. None of the stuff on my board really are. So, you know, it's also a matchup specific consideration. Not just blindly call your Sword Breakers, but think about it, you know. The end. Fargo skill when your Vanguard hits if your Overlord hits a Vanguard, retire 1. Your Overlord can restand, I guess, so you get more retires. Georgette, alright. Unlocker, attacks, you know, gets an extra crit. Cool. Very interesting list. I guess some Link Joker hate, but if it works for them, I guess it works. You know, attacking with Vanguard first. You know, I'd say maybe because they can Persona Blast, but they're attacking with a booster. Lots of question marks there. Doesn't add up. I don't understand. Sure, alright. Maybe they're damage denying us, you know, big braining. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, let's just call this out. We're not going to use a skill. Don't mind calling one out because we can always fetch another one. Let's just attack Vanguard first. Let's check a trigger. There we go, that's nice. And this way we can push for lethal this turn. Alright, no lethal for us, but that's fine. Alright, let's see what they can do. We push 2 to 5. I think one of the good things about this deck is that, of course, it's not as explosive as Liberator's early game, but starting from your turn 3 turn, you have a lot of ways to plus and a lot of superior calling, tiring. You have a lot of stuff you can do, and can help you accelerate and put yourself in a position that you like and is favorable against different matchups. You know, Fargo gonna help them retire or board, I guess. All right, the 7k booster, so they can actually hit if they restand. Probably in grade 2, that would be good. Berserk Dragon's nice. SP, there's a lot of SPs, you know. Alright, Berserk Dragoning, the Sword Breaker of all things. Alright, you do you, bro. On hit, retire. Are they going to retire the Sword Breaker? Hopefully not. Let's see, they retire 7k. No comment. No comment. Alright, I think if we lose this game, it's super disgraceful. Drag Ruler, again, you know, it knows it's its deck profile, so it has to show up. You know, we can superior call the Blaster Dark. Can't use the skill because their one's at 5, so again, Raging Form is better in this situation. You know, it is a drag. There's Drag Ruler in the name of the deck profile, so I guess it had to show up and say hi. Can't deny Drag Ruler a chance. It's a very good looking dragon. Alright, let's just go swing for game. Alright, that's 1 PG. Note that they don't play Conroe, so the chances of multiple GPGs is not as high as a standard Kagero deck. 26k number, really nice. Is this game? That is good. Hopefully they don't 6 damage check another heal. Alright, that is solid. Okay, well, happy Easter, everyone, I guess. Late Easter. Let's go for one more game. Let's go for one more game and see what we can do. If we win one more, we're Legend 10, and I think that'd be a great way to end off this video. And hopefully we don't play poorly, and maybe this time we can show Raging Form. You know, maybe Desperate Dragon. Desperate Dragon is a super fun card. It doesn't show up all the time. It's a one-off, but when it does, I generally enjoy the game. It's a nice change of pace. We're gonna be playing these Aquaforce. Sorry about that. It's been a long day. All right, probably gonna be a Maelstrom deck, so that's exciting. Desperate Dragon is it asking for it? Me thinkies. Desperate Dragon? If we get a peek on what PGs they play, maybe Desperate Dragon is the play. Did that rhyme? Yeah, it did. Yeah. I was like, why does it sound so good? Fun. Bubble Edge Draco Kid. They're playing that Blue Storm Tetra Drive build, maybe. Alright. Penguin! Oh, best card in the game. I love the art. 10k hits, 6k. The battle of the tiny grade ones. Math. Oh, another grade 3. Not the best, not very nice, but will suffice. Ooh. Oh, transcore. Wow, very, very, very interesting. Transcore Tetra deck, maybe? I don't see a Transglory playing that blue whatever Draco Kid. Bubble Edge. Alright, we're both whiffing our triggers, but that's okay, I guess. It's food for us. Let's go into the Phantom. Let's call the Tattoo. Calling one wouldn't hurt, I don't think. Hopefully they don't hit the trigger. Good, so we can connect. Let's see a trigger. No, unfortunately not. They all ended up in our hand. Judge Val helps us draw 2 cards! Oh wow, so good. Yes, I like draw. Draw card, very nice. Ooh, in the main, lets us draw 2 cards too. Ooh, PG, I like. Nowadays with the update with the end turn thing, I just can't be bothered to click end turn and then confirm, so I just rather swim with my rearguard if I can. It is a Tetra Drive deck. Very rare these days. I do think that Maelstrom is the better build. Has better matchup coverages and all. Alright, we have the Tidal Assault. Okay. Needs to hit though. It needs to hit a Vanguard, so needs to find a way to pump up that number. Penguin, very good card, so last to draw 1. The Amontes. Alright, how's that title gonna reach those 1621k numbers? I really wonder. Why don't we just put on the Vanguard? Okay, 16. Committing for it. Don't have LB4 yet, so the Tetra isn't actually gonna do much. Ooh, a damage trigger there would have been devastating for our opponent there. But the lack of grade 2s in our hand, it's showing its consequences. Desperate Dragon, not that nice here because, well, you know, they do have some filler in the back row. Don't get to choose which rearguard to retire. Yep, going Vanguard to rearguard. That's okay. Prioritizing the draw. It's all good. Oh, they get to, yeah, it doesn't need to hit. So that's nice. It's a draw 2. Everyone be drawing 2 today. I guess we're going Drag Ruler, huh? Drag Ruler 13k body, good against Ample Force as well. Top decks into it. I guess it is a Drag Ruler deck profile after all. I guess I didn't need to consciously go for Drag Ruler in the game 1, but. Again, we're retiring 2. I don't know why there's 3 shots to the face, but maybe someone can tell me. $42k! Unfortunately means nothing in 0. I'm so sorry. The deck that can't burst your opponent down and deal multiple damage and restand with that big number doesn't really mean much. And in real life you would have PG'd it anyway, so you know. They do get that Tetra restand though, so that could be devastating, but we do have 2 PGs, so we got that going for us. Diamantes can't hit our 13k body without like a 6+2 helping it out, so. Alright, Basil. Omoshiroi desu ne. Diamantes want the intercepts in the front. The main is unfortunately a 5k body that can get bullied by practically every unit in this game, except 4k starters, I guess so. Alright, going for the Tetra plays. They get the restand. They get that heal. Alright. 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 Does mean that we get to Dragular one more time, I guess. Tetra drive. It's weird because it's not the. Is it the 5th attack? I guess it is. It is. Look at Ren. You know, look at his his right eye, left eye. His eye to our left. So there's a little tear or sweat. They are gonna clock out. They have 1 bar left. Can they make it? Ooh! 2 Tetra drives. That's very cool. Not for us, but very cool for them, for sure. Again, big numbers. No matters. No matters here. Another Dragular. Thank you for showing up, I guess. Alright, well, I guess it's just nom nom and then hope for game. So. So the Raging Form and the Desperate Giant did show up. Hopefully this is enough to seal the game though. Hopefully it is enough. Very nice. Dragular goes for a 6 damage for 3 games straight. You know, I love making these videos, but it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good when like every other game I like put up there, it's a 6 damage shield, you know? Feels bad, man. Fine, you win. Take me. You know, we started our game with so many grade 3s and you 6 damage shield. I don't mind it anymore. This is what happens when you're not the main character, I guess. Yeah, poor Bunny. It is what it is. You know, I think we got progressively better. You know, first game we didn't go Raging Form. Costed us the game. That's okay. Second game we played fine. Opponent was not playing fine, but it is just what it is, right? Third game we did what we could, and we were dealt a bad hand, but we played the hand we have. We played well. We did fine, but we got punished by that 6 damage shield, and that's just how it is sometimes. So I hope you enjoyed. I think you definitely enjoyed it more than I did. But if you did like the video, please consider liking it, giving it a thumbs up. It really helps. And subscribe if you haven't already and you want to see more, something like this. Hopefully, it's deck profiles like this, less so 6 damage healing like this. So But I promise I'll try to keep you entertained. And that is all for today. So thank you for watching. Stay safe, everyone. And see you in the next video. Bye.